This video will go over the Pythagorean theorem. So very simply, the Pythagorean theorem is a squared plus b squared equals c squared. And what this theorem means is that in a 90-degree triangle, if we had side lengths a, b, and c, and we took side length a and we squared it, and we added it to side length b squared, then we would end up with side length c squared. And one important thing to make note of is that side length c is always opposite of the 90-degree angle, and it is known as the hypotenuse, which is the longest side in a 90-degree triangle. So let's start by solving this triangle. So this triangle has side length 4, 3, and also an unknown side length c, and we need to figure out what c is. So we simply start off by writing our theorem, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Now we have to identify which side length is a, which is b, and which is c. So this side length right here, we can call this side length a, so 4 squared. This side length right here, we can call it side length b, so b squared. And this will equal c squared, which is what we're trying to figure out. So we simply do 4 squared, which is 16, plus 3 squared, which is 9. 16 plus 9 is 25. And so 25 equals c squared. Now in order to remove the squared, we need to do the square root of both sides. So we end up with root 25 equals square root of c squared, which is basically c. So the square root of 25 is 5, and so c equals 5. Now let's take a look at another example. So in this 90-degree triangle, we're given side length 5 and side length 13, and we need to figure out this unknown side length. Now recall that the side length opposite to the 90-degree triangle is c, so that means 13 is side length c, and 5 is side length a, which means that this unknown side length is side length b. Now we simply start off by writing our theorem, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Now in this example, we're trying to figure out b, so we need to isolate b. And in order to do that, we can subtract a squared from both sides, and this leaves us with b squared equals c squared minus a squared. Now we simply take our c squared, which is 13, and squared, and we take our a squared, which is simply 5, and so we're left with b squared equals 13 squared minus 5 squared. 13 squared is 169, and 5 squared is 25, and this leaves us with b squared equals 144. Now in order to get rid of the squared, we need to square root both sides. And then we're left with b equals 12, because the square root of 144 is 12. And so therefore, side length b is equal to 12. Now if you have any questions, you can leave them in the comments below, and they will be answered as soon as possible.